All right, today we are going to roll out right into the as is purchase contract. All right, if you've never been here before, my name is Eric Martin. This is Table Talk, Real Estate, Family, and Legacy, where we touch on all three of those within the video chronicles here. So if you're interested, shoot back and watch some of the other videos. But today we are going to discuss the as is contract, or at least the as is terminology. All right. Now, the as is contract is a thing here in Florida along with a standard contract. We're not going to get into those today. We are going to just focus on the as is terminology, which can be used pretty much within any state and real estate transaction. Because a lot of sellers will put in buyers purchasing home as is. Now, from a buyer standpoint, that can be a little scary to see. That can be a little scary to hear. Does not mean that you are going to buy that house as is. There is still the ability for you to do home inspections. There is still the ability for you to ask for repairs. Now, given all of that little bit of information, okay, the sellers are not required to repair anything that you come to them with. All right. Most will to get the deal done, depending on the severity and what you are asking for. Now, generally, when I go into contracts like this and we do a home inspection and we come back with a repair list, okay, we look at what are the main problems or issues that came up in that report, all right? Are they going to be very costly to fix later on? Is that something we want to touch on? Are there safety measures? Is there something in the home right now that could possibly cause a fire, that could possibly hurt somebody or harm somebody in the future? Those are things that I prioritize. Those are things that your realtor should be prioritizing as a repair request. Because if something happens after you sell the home and you purchase the home, it is pretty much on you. So if there's problems with wiring and electrical, that is something that you would want the seller to address. If there are trip hazards, fall hazards, uneven concrete, crumbling steps, that is something you may want to note or get a credit for those so you can fix those right away. All right. The as is contract, or the as is term, is thrown around very loosely sometimes too. And with that being said, the as is term, I think sellers feel that when they say that, it's cut and dry. So as a buyer, just understand that when you see or hear that the seller is selling that home as is, they are basically just saying to you, we are not going to repair everything that needs to be done to this house. We understand that there are going to be issues that are going to be found during a home inspection. Do not come to us with a laundry list, because we will not fix it. Come to us with a reasonable list and we will review it. That's pretty much what they're saying when they say we're selling this home as is. And I would say that there is probably over a 95% chance that every home is sold in that as is expectation. Because quite honestly, if we were to hold sellers to everything that we found wrong in a home, I don't think transactions would happen. because there are some buyers that will nitpick on every little inspection point. And then there are other buyers that are realistic and will pick out 3 or 4 of those points. So again, you have to look at, is it going to be a costly fix for you in the future if the seller doesn't do it? Is it going to be a safety concern that you're going to have to take care of if the seller doesn't fix it? And once you can figure out where you lie and where you stand with the seller's requests going forward, or your requests going forward to sellers about what you would like fixed and what you want done, as to whether or not they will comply and do it, if they'll negotiate with it, or if they're just not going to do it. And unless it's really the home of your dreams, unless it's the perfect house in the perfect location, or you're getting it for a very, very good deal, if the sellers aren't willing to at least negotiate on doing any repairs or giving you any credit, I would suggest really rethinking that. Because if anything happens in the future, you're going to be held liable. And that is not to scare you off. That is not to say, whoa, we need to, if sellers aren't working with us, we need to not buy these homes or deal with these sellers. It's just a take a step back moment and really think. If they're not willing to fix a roof, or a roof leak or a roof repair, if they're not willing to fix a issue within the electrical box, with the panel box, the fuse box, fire hazard right there, electrical, you can electrocute somebody if they plug something in wrong. So you have to think about those concerns. You can also negotiate with the sellers if they come back and they're not willing to do anything because of the cost. I negotiated on 1 or 2 of the small repairs. I told them, I was like, if you fix this, we'll go in halves on the other repair. And they agreed to do that. It was only like a $250 out of my pocket repair, but they fixed the big electrical issue. So just kind of negotiating, working with a seller may also help you and work out. So with that being said, as is not a bad thing. As is just a standard term used in the real estate world to let buyers be aware that the seller understands that there will probably be an issue somewhere, and be known that we may not repair it. We may not want to do it. So do your due diligence as a buyer. Do your home inspections. Never ever waive a home inspection, because during that home inspection, more things may pop up than you realize. More things may pop up than you've been told. So do your due diligence. Don't be afraid of buying an as-is home. As-is homes are just as solid sometimes as new builds, as the highest priced home on the market, or the very lowest home on the market. So do not be afraid. That is just a term that has been used to kind of protect both sides. So if you found this useful, check back and watch some of the other videos we have, and we will see you next week.